Day 4 of the World Cup, and man, did it not disappoint. The World Cup never does. Let's be perfectly honest. It is a spectacle unlike anything else in the world. Viewed by more people in the world than any other sport, hands down, the most popular sport in the world. It's not even close. So, that said, day 4 was absolutely incredible, just like day 3 was, day 2, day 1. Essentially, the World Cup is just phenomenal. It brings us all together. It unifies us as humanity, and essentially that is one of the things that I absolutely enjoy the most about the World Cup is just how it brings us all together. So that said, let's get into our daily recap so as to not disappoint those who tuned in for this. Day 4 starts off with Morocco against 2018 runners-up Croatia. Croatia is an incredible team. They are stacked with talent. Modric, Brozovic, Dejan Lovren, Borna Sosa. Essentially, there's just a ridiculous amount of talent on this team. That said, Morocco, and I will continue to say this, is incredibly underrated. They are, essentially, they're the top-ranked team in Africa. They're 22nd in the world. Croatia's 12th, for those who didn't know. And essentially, Morocco is just a stout defensive team. They are very good going forward. They spring counterattacks with Hakim Ziyech, Ashraf Hakimi, Mazouari from Bayern Munich. And I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Apologies. But they have an incredibly solid team. They are very talented as well. So essentially, what are we thinking this game was going to be today? Essentially, we're thinking maybe it's going to be Croatia dominating, Morocco playing on the counterattack. But no, it was literally, end to end. It was a solid performance from both teams. They both went for it. There were opportunities on both ends. Essentially, this was a very evenly drawn match. It truly was. I think Croatia is the better team, perhaps, just because of their experience. But Morocco is, again, very underrated, very underappreciated. They are a very solid team, and I think if they were not in this unfortunate, what I refer to is as the group of death with Croatia, Canada, and Belgium, I think this would be a World Cup where they could potentially progress and go far. But because they're in this group, I think it's going to be tough. Canada's a tough team, also incredibly underrated and underappreciated. Belgium is a very good team, despite the fact that they are, wasting the talents of their quote-unquote golden generation. But honestly, this game finished 0-0. It was a 0-0 draw. For me, that's a solid result. A point for each team and well-deserved on both ends. Essentially, this was very evenly matched, and honestly, it was a fun game to watch despite the fact that it ended 0-0. Then we get into game 2 of the day, and game 2, upset. Another big upset, and I can't even stress to you how big of an upset this was. Yes, the Saudi Arabia upset over Argentina is arguably the greatest World Cup upset in history, truly. But this was an incredible upset as well. Japan upsetting Germany, 4-time champs in 2014. Germany, I don't know what to think about this team with Germany. I like Hansi Flick. I like what he's done. I like the fact that essentially we have seen a resurgence of this German squad since he took over, but also I think since the incredible disappointment that 2018 was. For me, I think that 2018 was just utterly embarrassing. You're the previous 2014 World Cup champions. You come into 2018, you go out in the group stages, you lose to Mexico 1-0. No offense to Mexico at all, but you literally finish the bottom of your group. It's utterly embarrassing. And then you work your way through, European qualification, and get qualified, and you're coming into the 2022 World Cup. You're like, what, we need to show people that we are the Germans, that we, can boss games, that we can essentially win this World Cup. And then you lose to Japan. And again, no discredit to Japan. Japan is a very tough team and historically has, I think, overperformed in World Cups, but they are a very good team, period. That said, Germany, let's just get back to them for a quick moment. they're inconsistent, and that is their biggest issue. Like they can utterly dominate games and win, games against very tough teams, and then they can lose games against teams you wouldn't expect, like this game here with Japan, because they were, I think, overly confident. They were maybe borderline cocky. I think they couldn't cope tactically with the changes that the coach for Japan made going into the second half. I think they are a solid team, arguably have some of the greatest depth of talent in the world. But I think that inconsistency, their defensive deficiencies will limit how far they go in this World Cup. I don't think they'll go past the quarterfinals if they make it that far. I just don't see them doing that. I could be wrong. I, would be remiss to say that I'm, always correct, because I'm not. Nobody ever is, and I admit my mistakes. But that's where I see it. And again, this show is called One Man's Perspective. This is just my perspective. That said, Japan was good value for their win, period. They were outplayed in the first half. Germany could have been 3, 4, 5 goals ahead, honestly, if they had been more clinical in front of goal, but they weren't. And credit to the Japan goalkeeper as well. That said, they came out in the second half with a renewed vigor, and essentially they went into that second half thinking, we could still win this game. We're down 1-0. Why can't we win this game? And they scored 2 great goals. The second goal, especially with that angle that I don't even know how he made that goal, especially with Manuel Neuer, who's just this man mountain. But great goal, great value for the win. Japan wanted it more, period, and they deserve that win. So credit to you. I think the credit for me most, besides just their utter desire to win this game of the players for Japan, goes to their coach. Their coach came out in the second half, changed the tactics, went to a back 3-5 in the middle of the park, basically, added wingbacks and snuffed out the midfield of Germany, which is hard to do because they have a very dominant midfield, and basically took the tactical game to Hansi Flick, and Hansi Flick didn't respond well, I don't think. And I think because of that, Germany lost this game. And unfortunately for them, their next game is Spain, who I love. I've been a Spain team fan for years. I think they showed today why a lot of people consider them dark horses to win this tournament. I was one of those people. I consider them a dark horse. Maybe not so much after today's utterly dominant ass display against Costa Rica, who are no slouches, but to win 7-0, and let me repeat that, 7-0 against a typically solid, stout, defensive, good team in Costa Rica with Keylor Navas as their goalkeeper, just goes to show you that they are back. I think Spain, honestly, I think took the blinders off for some people here today and basically let people know, what, we are back to that dominant team that we used to be, that won the 2010 World Cup. And honestly, I think Luis Enrique has done a phenomenal job. I truly think he's a great coach. I think his man management is excellent. I think he gets the best out of the players that he has, and he has a very young team. And this team can go the distance. I truly believe that. And not only was this game one of just utter and complete dominance, they thrashed Costa Rica. It was embarrassing for Costa Rica. And honestly, arguably, it has knocked Costa Rica out of this World Cup in this first game based on that goal difference alone. But what was utterly dominant, and this stat still astounds me, I read this earlier on Twitter. Spain completed, and let me repeat that, completed 537 passes in the first half alone. Like, that is insane. Like that's just utterly absurd, truly. And that, I don't want to say that just to discredit Costa Rica, because they were just outplayed. Costa Rica can play better than that, and they know they can. But Spain literally just destroyed them. It was a romp. They basically played them as if they were like schoolyard kids. That's how dominant this game was. So for me, Spain easily gets out of this group. I think they will not destroy, but I think they will beat Germany in this next game, which will mean Germany will struggle to get out of the group. But that said, that performance. I just, tactical masterclass by, Luis Enrique, Rodri, and Aymeric Laporte, two Man City players in the back line. Surprising selection for Rodri, but that said, there wasn't a bad player on Spain today. They just killed it, period. But that tactical acumen by Luis Enrique, I think, just showed how good of a coach he is, but also showed that Spain has so many different ways that they can hurt you. And I feel bad for Germany in this next game. I truly do. That said, let's get into this last game of the day, Belgium-Canada. As I alluded to earlier, Canada, I think, is incredibly underrated. They're 41st in the world currently. I think they will rise in the rankings after this World Cup, despite how they do, and deservedly so. They finished top of their World Cup qualifying, followed by Mexico and the United States, and they deserved it. They had an utterly, just phenomenal World Cup qualifying. And yeah, they're a tough team. They're a very tough team. And that showed today in this game against Belgium. Belgium are no slouches. They are arguably one of the best teams in the world and have been for many years, despite the fact that they have continuously ruined, and I should say, not say ruined, but let's go with wasted this golden generation of theirs, which has a phenomenal group of players that have never won anything. They have never gotten anywhere in any of the tournaments, like tournament after tournament after tournament. They just continuously flail and underperform. And it's borderline embarrassing, in my opinion, based on the talent level that they have. That said, they eked out a 1-0 win in this game that they arguably didn't deserve. Canada outshot them 23-9. If Alphonso Davies had made his penalty against Thibaut Courtois, things might have been different. I think, honestly, a 1-1 draw would have been, a solid result for both teams, but actually deserved for Canada, because Canada deserved not only a draw, but arguably to win this game. Essentially, this is a tough group. Again, you've got Morocco, Croatia, Canada, and Belgium. Those are all four quality teams, and this is the group that I've been most excited to watch, because I want to see who actually gets out of this group. That said, we have some incredible games tomorrow. I think, Brazil, Portugal play tomorrow. You've got Cameroon, you have Ghana. Essentially, every day is exciting with the World Cup. There's not a single day that there is not some excitement, some unforeseen thing that happens, some crazy stat that happens. This 537 passes for Spain today, this upset for Germany today. There will be some upsets tomorrow. There will be some unforeseen things tomorrow, and that is the joy and excitement that every World Cup brings. I'm excited about it. I cannot continue to tell you how pumped I am that we are in this time of year with the World Cup. I know you're pumped. Check out our recaps every single day. We'll be here tomorrow around 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for the United States. And honestly, I just hope you guys tune in. Leave me comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the World Cup so far, about what you think about this video, things I could improve on, things that you'd like to hear us talk about. Just hit us up in the comments. Honestly, love to hear the feedback, truly. But honestly, check us out tomorrow. Hit the subscribe, hit the like button. Just let us know that you care, that you want us to continue doing what we're doing. And like I said, guys, just enjoy the World Cup. It comes around every 4 years. It is a time to unify around this incredible sport. And honestly, football is, as people say so frequently, the beautiful game. And today showed us yet another reason why. Tune in again tomorrow. Thanks again, everybody. Love you all. And again, just enjoy this time. Enjoy the World Cup. All right, guys. Cheers.